Are you a chosen one to exit the survival paradigm? Let me rephrase that. Are you brave enough to exit the survival paradigm? Welcome to Unbecoming with Caroline Grace. You just entered your portal into your highest self. I am joined here with Mr. Kobe, my most trusted canine.
Dude, you're so cute. You always distract me.
Where were we? You just entered a portal into your highest self, unbecoming everything that isn't you to step into your wealthiest, most self possessed life. Here, we blend neuroscience, body literacy, mind, body, energetics, human design, and whatever other rabbit holes I'm going down to lead you into your most wealthy life. Not wealthy because you worked hard for it, wealthy because you're already deserving of it. And that takes self possession. And today, we're talking about being brave enough to exit the survival paradigm. So, first, let's just talk about what the survival paradigm is, because there's history in it, there's life cycles, and there's just where everyone in the world is. Survival was the assignment. Work harder. Prove that you're good enough. Be the one who can manage herself in a chaotic room, regardless of what anybody needs. You're productive. You know how to prove and earn your seat at the table. You know how to be better, heal better, and optimize yourself. And this historically makes sense. For 400 plus years, women have had no other option than survival. But now, this first generation of women, I can open my own bank account, I can own my own home, I can run a business all by myself. I don't need permission, I don't need a partnership, I don't need to be good enough, I don't need a letter of approval. I can do whatever the hell I want, and so I'm going to create a life that freaking turns me on. Now, you're a chosen one to step out of the survival paradigm. If you not only want life to feel good, but look good, you don't want to pour into your ambition, your career, your passions without your health, without the ability to be present with your family. You are now craving a life where your ambition, your mind, and your body feel like they're working together, where there's room for $1 million and health that doesn't require micromanaging every step or every morsel of food that goes into your body. A body that can hold a wealthy life, large sums of money, lots of responsibility without feeling disconnected from her body, without feeling she has to fight herself to sustain it. Are you getting the picture? Because it's probably already what you want in life. Which is why, are you brave enough to exit the survival paradigm? For 400 plus years, like I said, women have had no other option than survival. Your mother, her mother's mother, passed down their survival traits to you. You don't just inherit hair color and eye color. You inherit the very rules and strategies that will keep you alive based upon what kept those alive that came before you. And you are a brilliant woman. I know you can work harder than anyone in the room. I know that you can make shit happen just because you have an idea and you can skip steps to make it happen and you don't need anybody's permission. I know that. And so does your survival. Our survival strategies look brilliant. If I heal myself enough, I get this. If I work hard enough, I get this. If I'm exhausted, that means I did enough, which means I'm worthy for this, which means I can have permission for this. If I checked everything off my to-do list, I can finally lay down and let my body feel pleasure. Those are survival strategies dressed in ambition, dressed in productivity. And you know what? The world rewards them. The most rewarded I've been in the majority of my life was when I was the most exhausted, when I had the least amount of boundaries, when I was the most available to my boss, to whoever I was working for, to my friends, when I was the most disconnected from my body and the most ambitious. There's my little pupper taking you on a ride. He's going to move again. His head is on the bottom. How many times at work have you been asked to do something that was extra hours outside of your job description, but you knew that you needed to do it to keep your job, to get ahead? I know you flirted to get your way before. I know that even if you don't feel fully seen in your emotions, you're still going to show up for somebody else. I know that you are grateful in life. I know that you try hard not to complain. And all of that is your survival strategies, which is why no amount of achievement, physical health, or body changes, discipline, hard work, effort, strategy, other people's coaching mechanisms, information, validation has given you a feeling of that deep trust in knowing where you don't have to figure everything out anymore and micromanage everything. When you no longer have to micromanage life and your thoughts and your feelings to make sure you're doing the right thing to get to where you need to go. And whether or not that's your experience, what I'm speaking to, you'll be able to put it into your own life experience. And the world congratulates it. You go on social media and it's pounded out. Staying high vibe and being grateful is just a fancy way that women are kept pleasant and kind, and we're bypassing our actual feelings. Discipline has been given a high standard when really it's just being disconnected from your body and figuring everything out from your mind. And doesn't actually feel the way you want to feel. We've used exhaustion as proof that we're doing enough, because then we can't blame ourselves if we don't get there. We've outsourced our body's wisdom and our higher self's guidance to somebody else's strategy for their certainty. And we've chased all of this just to feel good enough. And whether this is making sense to your mind, you'll know it's making sense to your body. And this is where I'm going to ask you the question again. Are you brave enough to exit the survival paradigm? Are you ready for a life that not only looks good but feels good? For a body and mind that aren't constantly fighting each other? For a life that feels easier, more aligned, like you don't have to guess and micromanage and figure everything out? Are you ready to step into full self-possession, where you create a home in full acceptance of all parts of you, and then life has no other option than to meet you there? I believe so deeply that we only have our desires because that's the life we're meant to live. I don't want to be a deep sea diver. I don't want to be a sailor. I don't want to be a fisherman. I don't want to be a swim coach. I don't want to be a cello player. I want what I want because that's the life I'm here to live. And you want what you want because that's the life you are here to live. And as we move into 2027, life will no longer reward us for how hard we work and how much we can suffer and carry alone with a smile on our face. Life responds to how inhabited you are in your own being, how open you are to the experiences that are already shaping you and guiding you to the places that you want to be, where you're not fighting yourself, your body, your mind, or your energy. They're all seamlessly working together. If you're still here, I take it you're in. Awesome. So how do we get self-possessed? Well, let's go through 4 different steps to full self-possession, to exit the survival paradigm and enter in the self-possession era. And this is the exact framework that I'm guiding my clients through currently inside the Living Oracle. Until the 13th of August, if you're watching this in real time, the live cohort will be open. After that, you can take yourself through and just join our monthly calls and enter our community group space for daily and monthly support and coaching. So the 4 steps to reaching self-possession exiting the survival paradigm. First, you have to get radically honest on what you actually want. Outside of survival, outside of the expectations you've had for yourself, your family has had for you, outside of what looks good to post on social media, outside what all of your friends are doing, outside what you've been telling yourself up until this point because you've been too scared to actually ask yourself what you truly want because it probably goes against something you've been doing, something you've done, or something you've been told you should or shouldn't do. And I just did this yesterday with the Living Oracle Live cohort, and it is so yummy juicy. I walked them through my vision activation where they literally meet their highest selves with a safe body, with an open mind, with an open heart, and they get shown the life that they're here to live. And this is way different than like manifesting items. Like there's a lot of weird information on the internet. I'm not even getting into that. But this isn't like, oh, I want the car, I want the house, I want the bag, I want the job, I want the clients, I want the money. Like, yes, everything physical is going to, like, when you're wealthy, you're going to have a lot of physical items, and yeah, we're humans. I want fancy cars too. Why not? But what's really important about this stage, getting radically honest about what you want, is to not have it be an item, but have it be a value and a feeling and an emotion. How do you want to feel? Because you could call in 10 grand tomorrow. But if that doesn't actually feel good to your body yet, you're not going to be able to hold it. Your body's going to reject it. And that's what we get into in number 2, and I'll get to in a second. So I'm kind of jumping around. But getting radically honest on what you want requires you to confront your fears, your shadows, and your ego into what they are telling you want so that you feel better about yourself. What would you want if you already knew you were good enough? If you knew that everything was going to be provided for, your basic needs, food, shelter, you have enough money to pay the bills, where you shed and unbecome the layers that are truly you and aren't truly you, to get radically honest with yourself. And I took a client, I'm thinking of like one of the first clients that I ever took through this, and she was working really hard at a job. I think she was doing like resell on some app that does like live bidding on things. She was working out at the gym, lifting like 5 times a week. She was dating somebody, and we did. So like on the outside, her life looked great, right? She had a job, she was making a lot of money, she was moving her body, she was disciplined, she was in a relationship. And then when I did this with her, she saw something completely different. She wanted to feel way different in her body than the life and the actions that she was taking. She actually wanted a chicken coop and to be pregnant and to have a body healthy enough to house a baby safely. And she was like, wow, I didn't actually know that these things were important to me because I've been so focused on the things that our egos and our shadows in the world congratulates us on. So number 1, you have to get radically honest on what you want, or else how are you going to dictate where your energy goes? So once we know exactly what we want, and yes, it'll change, and even if I did this every week, it would change slightly. That's the beauty of it. Number 2 is to build body literacy. And body literacy is a new relationship with your body. I grew up a ballerina and did bodybuilding and was a gym girly and fitness. I mean, I still go to the gym quite often and I have a very healthy lifestyle, but it's in a very different energy. So I was raised with a lot of messages around, if you want to be healthy, you have to control your food. You have to be skinny and pretty to succeed. Your body's natural cravings and impulses are bad, and you have to override them and figure out from your mind what you want and control everything to get there. Sound familiar? I'm sure it does. And body literacy is learning to read your body like an oracle, not the obstacle. Body literacy happens when you have a craving and you no longer fight it and override it and push it down because you have to be healthy and then give into it and then shame yourself and hate yourself. It's when you have a craving and you say, wow, craving, thank you for giving me information. It sounds like you really need something and you're being drawn to food. I understand that food is something really accessible that I've given you in the past. Is there something else you need right now? Sometimes it is food if you're physically restricting calories or food, but a lot of the times it's emotional. Your body needs to communicate something with you. It doesn't feel safe in some aspect. I use cravings as an example because I think a lot of people have experienced that. Or we look at exhaustion. When you feel exhausted and you have body literacy and this new relationship with your body and can read it like an oracle, you get exhausted and you get curious. Exhaustion is never the obstacle, the bad thing. And we've been taught that exhaustion means you're not doing good enough. That if you're burnt out, it's because you weren't working hard enough. And that's so completely backward because exhaustion is your body communicating to you, my energy is going somewhere that is not reciprocal. Whether it's energy used to store all of this emotional backlog or memories or trauma or desires and yearnings, whether you're pouring into a relationship and nothing's coming back, whether you're putting all your energy to make more money in your job and it's not coming back and circulating and supporting you. Exhaustion is your body's brilliant way where it says our energy is not being reciprocated. It's being used in ways that aren't supporting us. I need you to look at this. And then burnout or depression comes in when the life is like, I'm pulling everything out of you. You need to sit down and look at yourself. It's when you stop shaming your body for communication, pain, bloating, cycle and period issues, headaches, acid reflux, thyroid issues. I deeply believe, and there's really cool science about this, so go do your own research and make your own opinions, but I deeply believe that every single signal from our body is communicating something to us. And yes, I know children have health issues and are given things that are unfair. That's a different conversation. This is more like in adulthood when things arise or become chronic. It's all communication. And I don't believe there's anything that you're given for life. I believe everything can be transmuted once we learn to listen instead of judge, fix, avoid. Let's see, building body literacy. And on top of that, when you're moving out of survival, your body believes that those survival things are necessary and the only way to keep you alive and safe. And so when you build body literacy, you're also kind of rewiring your entire nervous system and your nervous system and body's relationship with the world. Because this version of your life was what your body was familiar with, even though it's taking energy away, it doesn't feel good. So then when you are showing your body self-possession, it thinks self-possession is unsafe. Because, and this is where we get into number 3, where we integrate your shadows, fears, and insecurities. Because the only reason you have your survival tendencies is because you learned that you were too much, that you need to be quiet, that you need to be calm, that you need to be skinny, that you need to be controlled and disciplined and hardworking and exhausted, and you need to make enough money to feel good enough about yourself, and you have to have a relationship. Yes, lots of rules. Self-possession is the absence of those rules because you know yourself so deeply. You don't have rules in which you live by. You're self-guided. And to your body, that means danger, which is why it kept you in survival mode and dressed it all up so brilliantly. So when we get into the weeds, but not in a bad way, when we start to look at our shadow, our desires, our deep, true desires, our insecurities, our fears, we don't only have this yummy, gooey, big cauldron of all of the things that our body has done and our brain has done to protect us. We also have the portal into them no longer unconsciously running our lives. And I hate the rhetoric around you have to kill your ego, you have to get rid of your shadows. I think your ego and your shadows are the most loving parts of you. They literally override your entire system to keep you in survival because they are so freaking loyal to you being alive. But because those strategies aren't needed anymore, you're at a threshold where it's saying, okay, what does life look like when I'm leading, when I'm consciously leading myself? and making choices and responding and experiencing life with my vision in mind instead of my shadows and my fears and my insecurities and all my survival unconsciously making decisions for me, because then I'm just reliving the past. And integrating your shadow fears and desires means creating enough space for them to exist in your mind and your body without hating, shaming them, and showing them that they're safe enough to take a back seat. Integrating your shadows, your ego, your desire, is showing them that it's safe enough for you to drive the bus, for life and you to be in co-creation without your survival mechanisms and shadows needing to unconsciously take control of your entire vessel and make decisions for you. You don't need to get rid of them. You don't need to kill them. You need to learn how to be in relation to them where you can hear what they're saying, hear what they're scared of. Let them express any emotions or feelings that they probably couldn't express when you were 4 years old. And show them it's safe. And move forward anyways. And then that leads us to number 4. Moving through the expansion edge every day for the rest of your life. Your expansion edge is the moment where your body hasn't experienced it before and it feels scared. We're making $2,000 a month and we want to make $4,000 a month. We've only been in narcissistic abusive relationships and we want a healthy reciprocal relationship with a very securely masculine man. We have only earned love through how hard we work and how much we show up for others, and we've never really received it without asking for it. I've only ever paid $3,000 in bills every single month, but now I'm moving and buying cars and booking trips, and my bills are now $7,000 a month. I've never looked at myself in the mirror and not picked myself apart. I want to love myself fully in every moment while still working towards my goals. Every expansion edge is the moment where your body's like, wow, that's unsafe over there. This is familiar. And if you are somebody watching this still, you are somebody that is on a ever-loving life journey of constant growth and expansion. That's what I want. I want to keep experiencing new things and build my business and build my life and have more love in my life and more experiences and go to new places. All of that requires an expansion edge. Moving from what's familiar, what I've done, into unknown, what I don't know. And when you've gotten clear on what you want, you have body literacy, you know how to integrate and listen to your shadows in your body and your mind and have it all work together. When you meet this expansion edge, you can now expand what your body feels safe experiencing. So now, $7,000 a month feels safe to my body and just is my new normal. Okay, I'm making $30,000 a month. This is my new normal. Oh, I look in the mirror and love myself, but I can still work out really hard at the gym and choose healthy foods because that makes me feel my best. That's my normal. Your expansion edge only happens, though, when you can listen to the shadows that speak up that say, hey, this isn't safe. You can listen to your body's signals in those moments without trying to fix them. And you still have your attention on your goals, your dreams, and desires that are so unique and truly, rawly, fairly yours without going back into survival, back into what's familiar. And of course, you'll go back into what's familiar. That's what we're wired to do. But when you learn how to move through your expansion edge, you rewire what's safe, neuroplasticity, nervous system expansion. You stay with your body. Your body feels safe. It doesn't take over the whole system because now you're abandoning it and fighting it. And you let the emotions, the feelings, the experience move through your body so that you can go on to the next thing. And the biggest mistakes that I see people making and my clients make, and I made for years, which is why we're here, is that every time I would reach an expansion edge, I would fight my body to get through it. And I wasn't really getting through it. I was just recreating the past, but dressing it up in a more expensive outfit. I would feel the anxiety and I would fix the anxiety. I would feel the exhaustion and I would work hard and wake up earlier anyways. I would feel the uneasiness and uncertainty and I would pay somebody else to tell me what to do in my business. While yes, those strategies are helpful, can they go hand in hand with I'm listening to my body like the oracle she is? I'm integrating my shadows right now that are speaking because the 4-year-old version of me learned that sharing my thoughts on Instagram was unsafe because people were going to leave me. Can I work with my mind and my body and my ambition without sacrificing my health, without sacrificing my ability to be present and experience this life, without sacrificing my boundaries just to get ahead, without sacrificing the love that I deserve because I'm so desperate to be loved and seen in relationships that don't actually serve me? Are you brave enough to exit the survival paradigm and become fully self-possessed? Those are the 4 steps to becoming fully self-possessed, and I know it's so much freaking information. In ahead episodes, there's a better way to say that. I'm going to break all this down into way more detail, but this is the exact framework that I'm walking through inside the Living Oracle. The live cohort registration is open until the 13th, might be the 13th or 14th, but I'll have the link below. And then after that, it will be self-guided and you can join in the community group for daily conversations and the monthly calls. And if you're curious about one-on-one coaching or going even deeper with me where there's nowhere to run and hide, then send me a message anywhere below. Thanks for sticking around. Welcome to another episode of Unbecoming, and go freaking get it.